I'm just going to hang out over here in the shadow of this PX329 32-inch VA panel. And this is a flat monitor, not a curved monitor, with a 165 hertz refresh rate. Is it like the most ultimatist gaming monitor ever? Well, here's the intro and then we'll tell you. All right, so let's really talk about what you're going to get with this monitor. First off, adaptive sync, really important, especially if you're on an AMD card. NVIDIA doesn't support it because they have their proprietary garbage that's the same thing, just with their green logo on it. But you can use this with your AMD cards to get AMD FreeSync, and that works up to 144 hertz. Not all the way up to the 165 hertz. And, there's some whatever up and downs with that. You'll probably have a better experience at 144 hertz with FreeSync turned on than you would if you had, 165 or even 240 hertz with it turned off. But you get to diminishing returns when it gets up really high. Let's just talk about this for a minute. The biggest upgrade that you're going to make when it comes to a monitor, in my opinion, is going from a 60 hertz panel all the way up to something like this, 144 hertz or 165 hertz. At that refresh rate, it is really hard to see any screen tearing. Now, with a faster refresh rate, that still happens. There's some people that are like, that does not happen anymore. No, it still happens because, whenever your graphics card is spitting out the frame, it may not always perfectly match up. But once you get up to 165 hertz, even using this with an NVIDIA GPU, it is really hard to tell. I played Quake Live for quite a while, and I could not see any screen tearing. Every once in a while, if I turned the really fast, and my hair did that crap. If I turned really fast, sometimes I could see it, but it was like so quick and it was over so fast and it wasn't as extreme. So that's a huge benefit to moving to a higher refresh rate. This one has adaptive sync or FreeSync, but still at 165 hertz, it's not that big of a deal. And if that's one thing holding you back from getting this, if you have an NVIDIA card, don't spend the extra money to get G-Sync, in my opinion. Just run this thing at 165 and be happy. Now, this is WQHD. That means it's 1440p. And that's a really good resolution for something this size. The pixel density is good enough that you don't see, like rough edges and everything when you're just hanging out in Windows or using an editing program or something like that. Also, being a flat monitor, all your lines are going to be straight. If you want to do some productivity, you can. And speaking of that, this is a VA panel, which is very similar to IPS in the sense that you get very good color quality, probably even better black quality, and good contrast with this as well. So the VA panels are going to be a step up when comparing them to TN panels that a lot of professional gamers use, but just for the 1 millisecond response time. This one has 4 millisecond response time, and you're not really going to be able to tell the difference. There's going to be more latency with you than there is going to be with the monitor, so 4 millisecond response time is incredibly fast, especially when you take into account the fact that you have really nice color quality. So that's the kind of thing that I like to see. All right, let's talk about the connectivity on the back of this. So you have your HDMI, you've got two of those, and they're both HDMI 2.0. Then you have two DisplayPort 1.2. You have to plug this up to DisplayPort number 1 in order to achieve 165 hertz. So just keep that in mind. And then last but not least, we have an audio out, because of course you can do audio through the HDMI or through the DisplayPort, and then use this as your audio out for headphones or plugging it into something else. You have PIXIO's line of sight, is what they call it, but it's basically just throws a crosshair. You've got two different crosshairs to choose from, and you can switch between red and a yellow color. So you pick the one you like, and then throw it in the middle of the screen. It's a big, fat crosshair, and it's done in the monitor, not in your game. It's an overlay. So if you like that kind of thing, you got it. If not, then you don't have to use it. Next up, they have a built-in game timer where you can actually put a timer on the screen so you can see how long you've been playing your game. WoW players and MMO players could be handy for that. The VESA adapter on the back will work with 100 or 75 millimeter mounts. This will also work with their other monitor stands. The monitor stand we have right here, it doesn't do much. It just kind of sits here. It's got a nice build quality. We have a cable routing, like a red hook-looking thing in the back that's good for routing your cables. But this stand doesn't do much, and I think that's because they want to upsell you to their fancier stand. So you can take a look at their P400 stand. They call it the multi-stand. It'll work with pretty much, it works with this. It'll work with other monitors too, because it's just a VESA. It works for up to 32 inches, they say. It'll allow you to slide it up and down, It'll allow you to tilt and swivel and all that fun stuff to your heart's content. And pivot. All right, last but not least, they have their eye saver mode. And I was recently contacted by someone who says they work at as an obstetrician or an optometrist or an obstinate something, I don't know. And they told me that the whole blue color thing was nonsense, that it doesn't actually hurt your eyes that much. It seems like I'm more relaxed when I change it to more of a red hue, and what this does is it reduces some of the blue color output. The blue light does affect your circadian rhythm, so if you want to get a good night's sleep, I usually recommend a couple hours before bed getting rid of some of the blue light content, and that's what I would use it for. Otherwise, if your eyes are strained and it helps, I don't know. We can argue about this in the comments if you guys want to. So all in all, we have a really nice gaming monitor right here. I don't know if I like it better than the curved one or not. I think I do, because it's good for productivity as well, because I like those straight lines in Photoshop and Premiere and whatever other program I'm using that I like to be able to see the straight lines. So there's that. And again, this is all about that refresh rate. So 165 Hertz is nothing to sneeze at. I wish it was FreeSync 2, but it's only FreeSync 1. And there's not much difference, other than the fact that when you get into the low registry of FreeSync, you get some benefits with FreeSync 2. But hopefully you guys have a decent enough graphics card that you're going to be cranking out over 30 FPS and you'll be okay. So there you have it. Again, it's the PIXIO PX329. Go ahead and check the first link in top of the comments right there. That'll show you the price, because the price always goes up and down. So go ahead and click right there. Get yourself a shirt. They're swanky, and you'll feel like a swank master. And then grab yourself one of these mice over there in our store, made just for you guys. All right, we'll see you guys in the comments.